And welcome back to Champions of the Fog. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, entities of the realm. We are here today with Occult versus Cynic here on the Suffocation Pit with a little bit of a nurse mirror match. And we're going to be jumping right on in with Occult killing against Cynic's Survivor team. That being said, Nurse out on the prowl for a survivor, trying to see who they might find. As of right now, though, it does not look like they are able to find anyone. Also wanting to know that we are blessed by the entity's grace today, as we are not seeing any screen tearing on this nurse, which is very, very exciting, as we are able to watch them as they're going to be blinking around towards the main building in pursuit of who appears to be the Nia. That being said, looks like Nurse going to be doubling back, taking a look at a gen, not pursuing the chase here, though finding the Nancy on this gen, it would seem, and pushing him off. Looks like we do see a Spies from the Shadows activating here, giving Nurse a little bit of information. Unfortunate for the Nurse, unable to get that hit there. And looks like they will disengage with the Nancy instead, trying to push the survivor off the gen here. And they're just unable to really start a chase. We do see Spies from Shadows again, getting the hit there on the second blink strike. A little bit of focus, I would say, as Nia would probably agree. That being said, Nurse gonna go for an aggressive blink there, not gonna follow up with the double. We do see Spies once again giving the Nurse a little bit of information. Nia trying to stick to the outside, but will take the down. Not that bad as far as first downs are concerned. That being said, looks like Nurse going to be bringing them back over to this back hook. As far as the fourth perk is concerned, we are still not sure. Those survivors are now keenly aware of a thrilling tremors, as the entity will have blocked any gen that the survivors were not on. A well-timed sprint burst there from the Renato, allowing them to get away from the Nurse, as we do see the first gen popping off in favor of the survivors. Right now, Nurse just gonna be hanging around, trying to see if they can progress the survivor to second stage. Let's take a look and see what the survivors are up to here. We do see Renato still on the gen here. Looks like they are recharging their sprint burst. Nia just hanging out on the hook, and we do see Ellen coming in for a hit. That is going to be the unhook there, though the 1-for-1 trade. Let's see if the Nurse goes for the tunnel out here on the Nia. Gonna hold their second blink, not wanting to proc a BT. Instead, going to blink, and there's the down. With both survivors on the ground now, though, things are looking grim. The question is whether or not these survivors can rally on back, as Nia's put on the hook for the second time here. Now meaning that they are one hook away from being sent back to the campfire via the entity. However, Ellen now off of the ground. That in fact was a unbreakable, allowing them to do just that. However, Nurse has them in their sights. Gonna blink and swing and get the hit too. As we see there, aura reading wise, we see the Renato on the way to the unhook as we speak. And looks like they will successfully get the unhook. And Nurse, still wanting to go for the tunnel out, will in fact go for the Nia here. No room for error for this Nia, as she has nothing in her immediate vicinity. It comes down to using these objects to try and get some distance between her and the Nurse. However, it does not work out in her favor, as she will be sent back to the campfire via the entity. We'll let you know that 4 perks now kind of rotated out there for these survivors. That was Lucky Break, Inner Healing, Overcome, and a Quick and Quiet that are now sent back to the campfire. Nurse, though, once again in hot pursuit of another survivor here. We do see what looks to be a survivor in this tile with Spies from the Shadows. Scratch marks, though, not going the way the Nurse expected, losing them a little bit. It looks like they may have pulled a fast one on this Nurse, unless they're in the locker, but it does not appear to be the case. Nurse going to disengage with this chase attempt, instead going to try and find some other survivors. We do see the Nurse going to take a quick kick on this gen here, and that is going to be a Pop Goes the Weasel, regressing the progression of that gen by 30% of its current progression. However, Renato back on this hill gen here. Ellen about 70-80% on this gen. Only mere moments from getting complete, but Nancy now in chase of Nurse taking the initial hit. Nurse going to be blinking, I imagine, going to be trying to go for the 2-tap here. And Nancy with the double back, but the Nurse with a little bit of a faster mind on their shoulders, able to get the down, as we do see the 3rd gen popping off here for these survivors. 2 gens away from the X-Gates being powered, but in a 3v1 scenario, going to be quite difficult to say the least. Nurse going to be checking the gen with the Renato once again, finding the Renato and going to pop it here. That will be 30% off of that gen, or rather 30% of the current progression off that gen. That being said, Nurse not wanting to go for Renato, instead going to go for the tunnel out here. We do see the Ellen go for the unhook. However, Nancy in a little bit of trouble, as Nurse once again going to go for the tunnel out here and going to wait out this BT. Nancy trying to use these rocks to their advantage. However, Nurse just going to be able to once again get that down. We do see a 10% skill check miss there on the gen that Renato is working on. That is going to be quite the detriment to these survivors who are hoping to get these last 2 gens completed. That being said, we do see the Ellen there, and I do believe that may have been a life in play, as Ellen was able to get a little bit of extra distance. That being said, though, Nurse in hot pursuit. We do see Nancy back up off the ground. That doesn't mean Renato is now off of the generators, however. Spies in the Shadow going to be giving Nurse a little bit of information as Ellen tries to go towards the edge of the map. Nurse, though, right on her trail. And looks like we will see the down here on Ellen and get the pickup too. So that's going to be a fresh hook on the Nancy and on the Ellen as well, leaving just the Renato, the only survivor fresh as of this moment. Looks like Nurse not going for basement, instead taking the bold play, going through Shack Pallet, and now going to be going for the hook here in the back. However, looks like Ellen will get off her shoulder. In fact, a little bit of an aggressive play, I would wager, especially as she gets a pallet stun here on the Nurse. I'm curious as to the decision making there. There's no Scourge Hook, as we very well know, so I'm not sure why they would go for a more aggressive hook there than they needed, but either ways, we'll get Ellen back down on the ground, but instead of going for the pick, we'll end up going for the gen Renato was on earlier, but looks like Ellen has made the right call out and Renato is long gone. Nurse gonna go in for a dry kick there. That is 2.5% off the gen, and Ellen off the gens. No, in fact, that is Nancy on the generator. Renato with the pickup instead. And we see Renato and Ellen kind of boxed out here at Shack. Nurse trying to bide their time and potentially get a sneaky blink strike on the Nancy. And looks like Nancy just kind of holding strong here in the middle. Nurse seeing that too, and we do see Spies from the Shadow going off, suggesting Nancy has gone further in towards the main side. However, no sign of Ellen or the Renato. That being said, though, we do see them healed up. Nurse now in a little bit of predicament. Before, they seem to be in a really strong position, and with the hook in basement, would have gotten a pop on that gen under Renato/Nancy. But now, without that hook in basement, things are looking a little bit rough, and survivors more and more likely to escape via the exit gates. That being said, though, Renato and Ellen, I think, still back over on Shack's side. Nancy once again coming in and gen tapping at the very least. However, this will be another 2.5% off the gen. That's one thing survivors do tend to forget about. You can't gen tap as much anymore, as the killers do get that benefit of that 2.5%. However, survivors just doing a really great job keeping their distance here, ensuring that they do not give the Nurse a free hit. And looks like they are going to be working on the gen in Shack. There's not a lot of progress, but there's at least 2 survivors on it. And Nurse kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do you give up the gen, or do you allow for pressure elsewhere? Nurse kind of trying to bide their time here, trying to find an opportunity for it down. But these survivors just not giving them a single inch. As we do see a 10% skill check miss there. Renato once again with a well-timed sprint burst, going to be getting them out of dodge. Another 2.5% regression off this gen with the dry kick, but Renato, fearless, gonna go right back into Shaq. Nurse gonna go with the blink, kind of predicting Renato's movement here, and will successfully get the hit. I think this is where you need to follow up and get the down, get the pop as well. However, Renato gonna be holding towards edge map. We do see that firecracker. Nurse holding her blink a little bit longer to avoid the blind, and looks like Renato will go down at the exit gate. The question is, where's Nancy and where is the Ellen? Let's take a look at their gen progress here. Ellen with just a little bit of extra time there, knowing they can't complete the gen. However, looks like Nancy on a deja vu gen here, as we do see that bar highlighted in yellow. So that's going to be huge for the survivors, as they will complete the 4th generator here, as we do see the unhook and Ellen taking a hit. Nurse knowing exactly what's up, understanding that I cannot go for the chase lest the Nancy come in and get the final gen completed. That there will be a pop goes Weasel, regressing that gen by 30% of its current progression. Now the question is whether or not the Nurse can go for the survivors who are now healing over towards main side. We already see Renato healed up. Ellen will follow shortly thereafter. Spies in the shadows, though, giving the Nurse a lot of information, finding the Nancy here over in the middle jungle gyms. We also do see the Ellen and Renato on their way to this side of the map. However, Nurse not realizing that they're doubling up on that gen on the other side of that wall. And looks like we will get the hit on the Nancy here. Nancy trying to make their way over towards the middle of the map and the jungle gym. However, Nurse going to predict the dead hard, holding out on their blink strike. This could be huge here, where before it was looking like the survivors had the upper hand. Things are starting to take quite the turn with these downs from the Nurse. I was doubtful that the Nurse's strategy of playing it safe and being patient was going to play out for them, but it surely did. We see the fake. Ooh, I was not sure what was going to happen there. We saw the fake pop plan, and Renato once again getting in, this time with what looked to be a 99% exhaustion sprint burst, able to get the unhook and get some distance too. Renato faking the vault on the pallet as well, and Nurse blinking twice. Nurse with the one blink to try and get over the pallet, but not able to follow up with a hit. Renato just going to be holding the edge map here, which, as I've said all the time, is the strongest place for survivors to be when playing against the Nurse. It really does hinder their movement quite a lot, to say the least. That being said, Renato going to be going towards the back of main, going to be taking a down here. The question is, what do these gens look like? We're going to see the Nurse go for the pickup here. In the meanwhile, let's take a look and see what the survivors are up to. Looks like Shaq Gen is going to be completed, and Nancy already on the door while injured. Going to be a risky play, as Nurse here going to be blinking and making their way over towards these exit gates. And I believe that's the one Nancy is on. The question is, will they be able to get there in time in order to get the down? It only takes 20 seconds for those exit gates to be open. We hear the alarm go off. Nurse going for the blink and the swing to boot. Nancy now in a difficult position. The Renato only 30 seconds away from progressing to death. Ellen going to be having to go over to main side in order to get the unhook. They get the unhook successfully. However, there is an exit gate on that side as well. Nurse going to go for the slug play. Going to try and blink their way over towards main. Let's take a look and see where Renato and where Ellen are. Renato on the exit gate. Ellen going to be trying to play it safe here. And Nurse seeing a survivor on the exit gate as we speak. That there is the injured Renato. That is a perfect target to get a survivor out of the game. However, Nurse realizing that they go for the Renato, that gives Ellen an opportunity to go for the Nancy and get a 2-man out. If I'm not mistaken, Nancy might be worth more hooks. No, both Renato and Nancy are kind of in the same spot. I think the Nurse right now trying to suss out where the Ellen is at this current moment in time. However, no sign of her, and Renato just not daring to go for the exit gate. And at this point, it's kind of a bit of a standoff here. They need to do something. Renato going to go for the exit gate plan. Nurse having to go for the down. We see that sprint burst. Nurse is going to box them out in this corner here. Once again, no sign of the Ellen, and no one going for the pickup on the Nancy either. This hook here will result in Renata being sent back to the campfire via the entity. However, Nurse, I'm not sure she's going to be able to make it to this hook here. Nancy up, and if Renato gets off the Nurse's shoulders, this will be a 3-man out. This could be huge for these survivors, but Renato will be sent out to campfire via the entity, and I believe that will be Nancy and Ellen out via the exit gates. Really, really tight end game there. I believe that's a fresh out for Ellen and a 1 stage out for the Nancy as well. That being said, amazing job by both teams. All right, and we are back, this time with Cynic killing against Occult's Survivor team, and they are going to need to get a 3K at 5 gens completed in order to secure victory here in set number 1. Of course, anything more than that will absolutely give them a point advantage in the case of a true tiebreaker in set number 3. That being said, Nurse out on the prowl looking for these survivors, trying to see who they might see. I will say right off the bat, a really interesting build here, as we will see as Kate does take the first hit. You keen-eyed viewers may have noticed the first unique thing about this build, and that there is in fact a Hex Ruin, regressing these gens by 100% of the normal regression speed. That being said, it was not long for this world, as it was cleansed by these survivors. That being said, still some more interesting additions to this build that we will see in just a little bit. That being said, Nurse going to blink away from the hook to see what progression might be out here elsewhere. They will get the hit here on the Atom, but will not be able to stop the gen's completion. Really good game sense there from the Nurse, though getting 2 hits here is going to put this Survivor team on their back foot, as Nancy will go down. Looks like Nurse not satisfied with just that, will go back to the unhook, trying to force a little bit of an awkward scenario as Adam will go down. Kate now sprinting away. I think a sprint burst there, more likely than not, potentially from a Deli player who has since lost their deliverance. Kind of curious to check that. In fact, that being said though, Nurse with 2 slugs, Ace still healthy, Kate about to go down. We do see Nancy get back up, but Nurse looking to just tunnel out the Kate here. And let's take a look and see where the survivors are as of right now. We see Adam still on the ground here. Kate being carried to a hook, and sure enough, they were in fact the Deliverance player. So that is a huge boon here to the killer, to say the least, as Deliverance is now out of the game. And Nurse probably knows it too from seeing that sprint burst off the hook. That being said, Nurse trying to go for the survivor here that we saw in the jungle gym. However, going to be doubling back to the unhook instead to try and identify where these injured survivors are currently healing. We do see a skill check miss here behind main, and there's the Atom, who will be running away, but Nurse not in pursuit. Instead, going to be holding this choke point here between Shaq and the hook. So far though, no sign of any healthy survivors, looking for a 1-for-1 exchange for this Kate. We'll have to see if it works out for them. Only about 10 seconds left. We do see Ace coming in now, as well as potentially a second survivor. Ace going to be coming in for the unhook, will successfully get it. However, there's the BT hit on the Kate. Sprint burst on top of which, and Nurse now going to go for the blink strike. Kate just holding W, not going to go for the double back here. And as far as 4th perks are concerned, I don't believe we've seen it all just yet. Either that it's possible, that might not be possible to be seen on Spectator. That being said, Kate will end up going down, and without a decisive strike, that there will be the Kate sent back to the campfire via the entity. That being said, survivors about to complete another generator here, and for the final 2 perks that will be sent back to campfire along with Kate, that there is a Unbreakable and will make it in the mix, as well as that Deliverance and Sprint burst that we saw earlier. Right now, Cynic is primed and ready to meet their win condition of a 3K at 5 gens completed, as survivors right now with only 2 completed so far, 1 survivor out of the game. I believe when Occult was killing, in comparison, there's already 3 gens completed by the survivors at this point in time, and with Ace now down and Adam now down and Ace potentially shortly thereafter, we'll have to wait and see if these survivors are able to rally back. That being said, it looks like Ace will go down. No recovery here for the Adam, as the nurse will go for the pickup. And at this point in time, I would be willing to bet that the nurse is able to see the highlighted gens and just we are not. So the final perk that this nurse brought with them today is in fact a surveillance, a perk that I don't think we have ever seen in COTF proper, to say the least. At the very least, we have not seen it for a very, very long time. That being said, Nurse gonna go for the pickup here on the Ace, taking a look and seeing if they can get the hook right beside the Adam. If so, there's pretty much no way out, and as we mentioned earlier, the win condition simply is a 3K at 5 gens. The amount of time necessary to complete 5 generators is too much, and Nancy will not be able to do it by themselves. That being said, Nancy also found out here, taking a hit as well. Not a lot of distance gained here on the hit. Nurse gonna go for the blink strike, going to over blink to try and get them away from the hooks, but will not be able to stop them from the unhook here. Ace now gonna be able to go for the unhook unfettered thanks to BT, but the moment they touch the hook, that will be that. Ace now down, and Adam now going to go back for Nancy. Nurse knowing full well that the Adam will not be able to get the unhook, will get the pickup and hook here on the Ace. Adam going behind main, it looks like, going into main in fact. And looking around seeing if they can track down where the Adam might have gone. As he mentioned earlier, no unbreakable here for the survivors, as we'll make it unbreakable. We're sent back to the campfire via the entity. And looks like Nancy here will end up going on to the hook, and I believe this here will be Nancy sent back to the campfire. Let's see. No, that's first hook for Nancy. Actually did not realize that was first hook here. That being said though, we'll have to wait and see how this works out in the nurse's favor. I mean, like we said earlier, all they require is a 3K before 5 gens are completed, and even with Nancy being fresh and 2 minutes on the clock, that'd only be a gen and a half. So not enough time for this Adam to complete this final generator. And looks like we will see the unhook on the Ace. The Adam playing it smart. However, this will not get them any additional points, but might give them some time to regroup and recover and potentially get another gen completed. Let's see what the survivors' plans are here. We see the Adam hiding here behind main. Nancy going the opposite way, and Ace looking like they're actually already further towards Shaq's side. Nurse now in chase with a survivor. We did see blood on the ground as well as scratch marks, though. Looks like Nurse may have not seen where the survivor went, and that's the Adam in the corner. Looks like trying to buy their survivor team as much time as possible to complete at least one more generator here. The question is, will it work out for them? As Adam now on death hook. I believe Nancy the only one with a hook state to give. Otherwise, both Adam and Ace one hook state away from being sent back to campfire via the entity. Nurse, though, gonna go for a blink to try and scout out these remaining generators. We do see Nancy get healed up. No sign of the Ace, though. There's the Nancy by themselves. Looks like it may have been a med kit, and sure enough, it was, as they have one in hand. However, injured once again and being sent back towards the Shaq side. Nurse, though, going to cut them off and get the hit, but there's the dead hard from the Nancy. Very well played there, as that'll get her a little bit of extra distance, but not enough to get back to the hook in time. Nurse with the 2 blinks and the down. If they had missed, the Nancy would have had the time to get the unhook, but with that, I believe that there will wrap things up for this match, as that is going to be Adam sent back to the campfire, Nancy on second stage, and Ace still injured. Survivors could try and strategize and get things set up in order to ensure that they are able to get a hatch escape, but no, instead going for the gen completion. That is an additional 2 points, that is not insignificant, whereas Ace would be worth a total of 2 points, 1 for the survivor, robbing 1 from the killer as well. So if Ace is able to hide out to escape via the hatch, that'd be huge. However, Nurse right on top of them will end up getting down, and that there will be the 4K at 3 gens completed here for the Nurse and Cynic's killer team. So GG, well played both teams, and congratulations to Cynic, walking away victorious here in set number 1. That being said, do not go anywhere, folks, as we are going to be getting set up for set number 2, trial number 3 in just 1 moment. But before we do, we do remind everyone here today that we are partnered with Pugdom. Pugdom is a competitive Dead by Daylight community very similar to ours. All right, and we are back with set number 2, trial number 1, Cynic vs. Occult, this time on the Dead Dog Saloon, with Cynic killing as the Oni. And Oni out on the prowl. We do see scratch marks here that there is a Claudette, quite an early find to say the least, and Claudette with the pallet drop trying to make a little bit of distance here in order to get the main. Looks like they will have enough though, as they will fake out the window, and Oni feeling ahead on coming up will try and fake it out, but still will eat it nonetheless. I mean, at this point, you see a survivor go past those lockers, you have to assume there's a head-on in play. But this Claudette not wanting to give the Oni any amount of their power, doing a fantastic job keeping the Oni on their toes. However, Claudette now getting a little bit turned around, no palace, no nothing, and there's the initial hit. And with Splintered Hall, you know Oni's just going to follow the trail of blood and get their power up and running. That being said, Oni going to break chase quite early here, not wanting to go up into main, feeling that these gens might be working quite soon. We do see the Ace dropping down, no balance landing from them, potentially different story from the Nia. However, Ace will get to this pallet in time. However, Oni swinging through, getting the hit and getting the power to boost. Nia in a little bit of trouble, knowing it too, and will jump off of the gallows, going towards Shack now. Oni gonna go for the break, and Nia with the blind. Oni, knowing that they're going for the window, is going to go around while blind and will get the down on Nia. Really good play there, to say the least. Oni, though, here another gen here, almost completed, looking around for the survivor that was on this gen, thinking that they couldn't have gone far, but no sign of them, at least not thus far. But instead, gonna go for the pickup. They lose about 3/4 of the power. We do see what looked to be an Ace, I believe, about to complete that gen. That being said, the Oni will get a hook here, and that there is a Scourge Hook Pain Residence, which regrets that gen by 25%. On top of which, we also see a Pop Goes the Weasel, regressing it again by 30% of its current progression. That gen just went from almost completed to nearly nothing at all. We do see scratch marks going in for the unhook, and survivor will in fact get it. We see the injured Nia and Oni looking to just tunnel them out and eat through the BT. Nia going for the pallet there, will not drop. Maybe a little bit too late, as Oni will get the down. Nia gonna be trying to make their way over towards the pallet, I imagine. Sure enough, there they are. Oni gonna take the gamble. No footsteps though, and that there will be the second hook for the Nia. One hook away from being sent back to the campfire via the entity. This once again will give the Oni a pop in hand, as we do see the first gen popping off for these survivors. That being said, we saw Leon, and now an Ace here, going to be getting the unhook on the Nia. The Nia needs to get out of dodge and needs to get out of there fast, as they're going to try and make their way up to main and to this window. Oni just going to take their time and block that with a bamboozle. Nia, sure enough, with the bounce landing in hand, I believe the first time they were actually seeing it used here, however, has not gotten all too much value. Oni, though, sensing another head-on play, trying to avoid it, trying to bait it out. Not in that locker. I feel like we heard him there. There's the Ace. They did miss the stun during the locker animation, though. And that will be another injury here for the Oni, and another survivor leaving blood orbs behind them. That being said, Oni a little bit tired of this chase here, going to be going into Wrath, as we do see survivors will complete a second generator. Oni potentially taking a little bit too much time on this tunnel out, as we do see them going to be trying to go around main, maybe trying to mind game here, trying to get a sense of where these survivors might be. We do see scratch marks. Nia, not knowing where the Oni was going, will end up losing them and will go down on top of the tables here. That there will be the Nia sent back to the campfire via the entity. I believe the only perk that we saw from her thus far was, in fact, that balanced landing that will be sent back to the campfire along with her. That being said, let's take a look and see where the other survivors are as of this moment. Looks like Leon here, just kind of hanging around. That there is the Oni, however, and we do see them now in chase with the Leon. Another head-on from the Ace. We briefly saw that locker open and close when we did take a peek over at the Leon, so that makes sense. Ace there as well. Two survivors off of gens, though, leaving only the Claudette to potentially get some progression here. Only with the kick and the break. Keep in mind, still another 3 stacks of Scourge Hook Pain Resonance in the mix here. As far as pop is concerned, looks like this pop will all but expire. Only once again trying to go for the mind game, will successfully get it this time around, though, as they will most likely get a hit here on the Ace. However, not enough to get their power to its fullest. Just a few blood orbs away, as we do see a 10% skill check miss there by the survivors. Quite an unfortunate situation, to say the least. That's about 9 seconds off of that gen, for those of you who were not aware. That being said, though, Oni now with a power in hand, going to be going for the Leon, it would seem. Trying to see if they can go for a mind game, it looks like, going upstairs instead of following the Leon out. That being said, no sign of the Leon up here, though it did seem like there's a Claudette here instead. No bounce landing from her. We did hear someone go into a locker, it sounded like. Oni once again going to be looking into the locker, and yeah, finding the Claudette. That was definitely a strange choice. For those who are not aware, killers can hear anything that makes a sound, more or less, within 20 meters of them. But very interesting to say the least. And that will be Claudette's first hook here. Another Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, regressing most progressed gen by 25%. Leon now in chase, but Oni having eyes for only the Ace, as they're going to be making their way over towards Water Wheel. But no, Oni saying maybe not, just going to kind of go back and forth here, trying to push these survivors around here at the hook, and trying to progress Claudette to second stage. At the very least, wasting time for the survivors. We see Oni trying to get their power in order to get the insta down on the Leon, but Leon gonna be coming in and taking the hit as well. The question now is, will the Oni go for the Claudette or go for the Leon? Both going towards main as we speak. Though no, Oni instead gonna be going for the Ace, it seems like. We see scratch marks going away from the gen, and we do hear the Ace vault out behind this tile. Oni, though, sensing that they're going for the Water Wheel, will successfully get the fake on the pallet. No stun there for the Ace. Trying to do some sneaky mind games here with their Demon Dash, but Ace, all the wiser, will end up getting away. We see them maybe trying to force a vacuum pallet, a 50-50 here. Ace just vaulting back and forth, and looks like they will avoid the down, but Oni getting the pallet nonetheless. We see the 4th gen popping off. Ace with the vault back into the Oni. Not sure if that was intentional or not, but Ace will end up going down. However, wasting the Oni's entire power there is huge, to say the least, as they will need to regroup and reclaim their blood orbs. That being said, that there is a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Once again, only 1 token remaining, and we have a bit of a, I wouldn't say 3 gen, but a line of gens. Oni cannot see all 3 of these gens from one location. However, it's a dangerous spot for survivors to be, especially with Oni's power in hand, and if they get a hook here in the vicinity of the 3 gens. That being said, Oni not concerned with the unhook. Oh, no, changing the mind, thinking about going for the Claudette, but now going for the unhook here. Looks like we see blood and scratch marks making their way away from the gen, but there is still someone nearby, and the Oni knows it too. The question is where, and I got a sense that they might be in this locker here. Oni sensing the head-on from the ace, but instead going to be going back to Claudette's gen. Claudette being very, very daring, to say the least. Oni whiffed the hug, but not able to get the hit. And looks like, once again, trying to do some quick mind games and will get the down on the Claudette, but once again, at the cost of an entire power. So, Oni's still with a lot of pressure here, but each of these downs taking entire power is quite detrimental for the Oni, as that does give them a lot of time to work with thereafter. However, these two survivors are bleeding everywhere and giving the Oni their power pretty quickly thereafter. We see the Leon trying to go for the pickup on the Claudette. They will successfully get it for what it's worth. The question is whether or not the Claudette or Leon will be able to get away from the Oni. Leon trying to make their way over towards main side, but Oni sensing the Claudette's nearby still, trying to go for them. No, changing targets, now going for the ace. Oni going to get out of Demon Dash before the ace is able to get the head on, and ace will be grabbed out of the locker here. Survivor's very daring with these plays, and we're going to have to wait and see if it works out for them, as this gen will be regressed by 30% from Pop Goes the Weasel. Another power from Oni here, though. And looking around for the Claudette, will find her here in the bushes, getting the down as well. To be honest, I don't think the Oni knew she was there. I think Claudette may have jumped the gun just a little bit and ended up costing them. Oni checking the bushes nearby, seeing if Leon is here as well. No sign of them, though. Leon potentially, no, there's the Leon in the corner. And that there will be the two-man slug and hook, resulting in a very likely 4K here for the Oni and Team Cynic. That being said, well played to both teams. The Survivors played very well, just a few unfortunate scenarios resulting in a few snowball plays here for the Oni, but that is what they are known for after all. And I believe Oni will get this hook in time, and that there will be the end of this match. We'll have to wait out the second stage, I believe, of Claudette here, and give us a little bit of time to recap all that happened. But overall, this is going to mean that Occult is going to need to get a 4K at 4 gens to tie in Force A Set 3. However, the ideal scenario for them will be a 4K at 3 gens or less in order to secure victory in set number 2 and Force A Set 3. That being said, we'll have to wait and see what Occult's killer is able to do. In the meanwhile, we are going to be getting set up for the next lobby in just one moment. Before we do, though, we do want to mention that we are partnered with Hell's Taco Truck. Hell's Taco Truck is a 1v1 tournament organizer. In fact, they host 1v1 tournaments over here on Champs and Fog every once in a while. Otherwise, though, they host 1v1 tournaments over on their Twitch channel and Discord server. All right, and we are back for what could be the final trial of this match. And looks like we have not been blessed by the entity today, as we are getting some frame issues with the Wraith. Not including the also flickering when they're in the cloak for the first time. It's a whole thing. So we're probably looking a lot at the Survivor screen while they are in chase instead. So as we see the Adam here now in chase, let's see what they got in store for us. Adam just barely dodging that hit at the LT wall from the Wraith. Wraith blocking the window, or attempting to do so, but not able to do so in time, as Adam will now make the way over towards main. Adam will come back, think they have enough time. They will successfully dodge that hit as well. Very well played here by the Adam, as they will get the fast fall up there from the railing. And Wraith, I believe, still in pursuit. No, it does not appear to be the case. Instead, now on the ace in front of main. Ace going to try and make their way over towards the shack side. However, Wraith now going to disengage once again, going up to main. Looks like we have the Adam here. And two gens pretty well progressed. Adam and Ace doing a fantastic job in these early chases. Adam not gonna be able to take the vault, trying to fake it, but Wraith, seeing it too, will end up getting the hit here. And we do see the reveal of a sloppy butcher here for the Wraith, as we do see that mangled and hemorrhage status effect. Wraith once again trying to uncloak here, but instead going for the vault. You keen-eared viewers may have just heard what I did too, and that, there, friends, is a bamboozle. That being said, Wraith here trying to get the down here on the Adam. Adam trying to go for Shack Pallet, will end up getting the throw. And that there is, in fact, a Shadow Dance from the Wraith, allowing the Wraith to break that pallet that much faster while cloaked. And while Adam will get the stun, they will get down as well. However, Wraith not going for the immediate pickup. Instead, looks to be going elsewhere and finding the Nancy out of nowhere. We'll have to see if that chase continues, as Renato about to complete the shack up in main. We do see the pickup there on the Adam, it would seem, and Wraith is a bit confused right now. I feel like they might feel a little bit divided in their decision-making in this moment. That being said, Ace going to be sticking nearby, trying to see if they can set up for this unhook. Wraith out on the prowl once again. Do want to note that these survivors are now keenly aware of a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance in the mix, as that hook did regress the most progressed gen by 25%. Looks like that may have been the gen up on main, as Renato's still going at it. Wraith, though, now in pursuit with the Nancy, breaking the breakable wall there. Nancy maybe not remembering that light burn is not a thing for the Wraith, and I was thinking that switching to Survivor might fix the Wraith's model. It did not. Wraith is all over the place today there, and looks like Nancy will end up going down. We do see the Renato nearby trying to do something to harass the Wraith here, but looks like we will get the pickup. In the meanwhile, though, Wraith will get the hook. Another Scourge Hook Pain Resonance here, and looks like they will now be going for the Ace here, in fact, over by Shack's side. Ace trying to drag the Wraith further away. A balanced landing going to be coming into effect here, getting the Ace just enough distance to get to this next pallet. Will throw it, however, Wraith going to disengage and go for the unhook, it would seem. And sure enough, Wraith is going to be on the Nancy here at the LT wall, trying to get the blind over the pallet, over the window rather. And looks like they will get to the pallet in time. Wraith taking the stun as well. Wraith, though, knowing something is up, looks like they will disengage Chase and will be on the Renato, it would seem. With both Nancy and Renato here in front of main, Wraith is in a little bit of a good spot. However, Renato nowhere to go. Ooh, blinding to Wraith. Wraith, though, able to catch up pretty quickly. Nothing in front of the Renato, going for the LT wall. Wraith not falling for the fake and will get the down. Looks like Nancy gonna be healed here by the Adam through Sloppy Butcher. Ace about 50% on that gen. And we see the Wraith gonna be hooking the Renato here. That there will be another Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, regressing the most progressed gen by 25%. As for where these survivors are now, looks like Ace sneaking in right behind Wraith with a will make it in hand, as they will in fact be able to get that heal done pretty quickly through Sloppy Butcher. We do hear the uncloak, and seems to be the Wraith on Adam here. Once again, that quick break with the Shadow Dance. Wraith not going to break that time around, instead going to go around the tile. Adam likely to be hit here, in fact, as they'll try and make the way up into main. The question is if Wraith will go for the chase. And looks like they will pursue the Adam further. Wraith with the vault. I imagine Adam going to be dropping down here at the window. Sure enough, if Wraith follows suit with them, the bamboozle will go away, but Wraith being wiser here, not going to fall for that. Renato coming in, going for the body block on the Adam, it would seem, but getting the hit through the window as 5th gen is now completed. Wraith in pursuit of the Adam, and looks like they will take the down at the pallet. Ace just barely unable to get the body block in time. Wraith now on the ace, taking a hit there. Sloppy Butcher once again being applied. I imagine the Nancy already on an exit here. We'll have to wait and see as Wraith trying to look around, seeing how much value they can get. That being said, I'm fairly certain Cynic has already reached their win condition here in trial number 4 and will walk away victorious as Wraith will take their final victim to the basement. And this is looking like a 3-man out. Potentially a 4-man if the survivors really want to. We see them resetting behind main right now. And they might be going for a 4-man out unless they have yet to work on these S-gates, which is also a very real possibility. I'll have to wait and see if that is the case as Adam just hanging out there. Ace with the fast vault, maybe trying to grab the Wraith's attention over towards this exit gate. Wraith, though, just gonna be sticking back in basement as we speak. And looks like survivors are setting up for the unhook. They're gonna be daring, it would seem, and with Wraith breaking that breakable wall there, it does allow survivors another entry to basement. However, they only have about 20 seconds left before they end up going to death anyways. We see what looked to be the ace going down into the basement for the unhook on the Adam. Wraith will not get the hit on the ace. Looks like they may have in fact gotten the hit on the from the iframes from Adam. Nancy and Ace body blocking the Wraith as we speak. Adam going to be making the way towards the exit gate. EGC has begun. Exit gate is open. Wraith trying to catch up to the Nancy, but this looks to be a 4-man out for Cynic.